Hey everybody, Coach Mike here. It's time for Kids in Sports. Teach first, win later. That's the secret, or that's the formula I like to use. Let me get my brain together. Hope you had a great Father's Day yesterday. I did. Got me a cool shirt. Got to show it off. Grandpa Saurus T-shirt I got. Let me focus. There we go. That's like a normal grandpa, but more awesome. It's got my grandson's names on it. My wife found that obviously somewhere. I tell you what, if I tried to buy every shirt I see that I like on the internet, I'd go broke real quick because there are so many cool shirts out there. I just love it. I just love it. So good shirts always back. Today I want to talk about one thing. I saw something this last week, and this is the thought that crosses my mind on many occasions, and that is, what age is the right age to get your son or daughter into travel ball? What is the right time? How young? And that's something that sort of a pet peeve with me. Before I get further on that, I want to tell you about custom lineup cards for baseball and softball teams. That your team should be your lineup cards. You can put your coach's name on there, your team name. I can even put the roster on there for you. That way you don't have to be writing all those names in. I got some junior colleges order from me. They have like 44 kids on there, 44 players on the roster, right? That'd be a lot of writing if the coach had to write that in all the time. And by the way, if you use the code Kids in Sports, get 10% off your first order of custom lineup cards. So I hope you check that out, customlineupcards.com. Thank you very much. What age for travel ball? I thought I'd see new lows. Uh, I've, I've heard of 10 under travel ball. Of course, I'm a softball coach. I've coached a little baseball and basketball over the years, but primarily fast pitch softball. We had a daughter. She started playing at 7 years old, did rec league for 5 years, I think it was. Did I say 2 8s, 2 10s? Yes, 5 years. Second year of 12 and under, we decided to go travel ball for various reasons. Uh, we wanted to get better, of course. My daughter wanted to improve. She wanted to play in high school, liked softball, wanted to keep playing. A lot of good lessons from that. Some I share on the show off and on. That there's sports provides so many good lessons, and some of them can be a struggle, and some of them can be fantastic. They're memories you'll never go away. But I've heard of 10 under travel ball. Okay, I think that's a little too young, but that I can accept that borderline there for me. I mean, I'm not going to tell you what to do. This is just I want you to think about this. There's a lot of reasons for it. Okay. Recently had a friend. She works at a grocery store near me, and she said that her daughter, who I may be playing for me in a couple of years, if I'm still coaching at the school I'm at, uh, her doing travel ball at 8 and under. 8 and under. I said, oh my goodness. I think she's 10 now, but she was doing 8 and under. I says, you got to be kidding me. That, in my book, is definitely too young. It's not about the sport itself. That's the whole thing. That's what people don't seem to understand. They get this whole thing in their mind that, damn, my kid's going to get that college scholarship, right? But this last week I saw a post that really 6 and under, 6 year old in travel ball. I'm sorry, and yeah, I'll be a little firm on this one. 6 years old is too young for travel ball, period. Let's define travel ball. Okay, let's get into this. I'm going to tell you why I believe this firmly, and I think if you really choose to analyze and consider everything given, you might see you might be able to make some changes along the way so your kid doesn't burn out. Because guess what? Most kids burn out of sports between 12 and 14 years old. That's not my statistics. Go look it up. I'm sure there's different polls show different things. I've seen pretty consistently over 30 years that between 12 and 14, different sports different. For example, track and field, maybe in high school, when I was coaching out in California, I would lose players from softball to track. Why? They don't have to worry about making the team so much. Even if they're not the star runner, they still get a play, right? Or softball, they might not get a play as much, depending how good your team is and how good they are. So we always get this idea, well, if I get my kid in travel ball, and yes, there's a lot of high schools that you're not going to make the team if you're not doing travel ball unless you're that superstar athlete that's just natural at everything. And I've known a few of those. My daughter had a teammate at 8 and under named Rosie. That kid went on to be a star at her high school. She was my shortstop on their 8 and under team. She completed an unassisted triple play one time. Okay, I'm serious. Unassisted triple play. And it wasn't, part of it was not trusting her teammates. Basically, she caught a line drive, touched second, the runners were going because, in 8 and under kids, they're not always as disciplined about freezing on line drives type of thing. Stepped on second, got the second out there, and then ran to third. Didn't trust it to throw her to her third baseman. Ran to third and beat the runner trying to come back that had crossed the plate already. So it's not just about whether they like the sport and having fun. Obviously, that's part of it. But yes, you want to be the best teams, the best high school and college teams. You're probably going to have to have done travel ball. Now, there's a lot of high schools out there that you could probably make the team without doing travel ball. It all depends how important sports is to you. Now, I could do a whole bunch of shows on that, long shows on whether you should go play for this team or that high school or something like that. Or, I've heard of players, well, I'm not going to play for this high school because they're not good enough, or they didn't even go out for their team, didn't go to another high school, just didn't go out for their team. Those are discussions we can have all day long. But let's get back to the age of travel ball. All right. Most kids burn out of sports between 12 and 14. I cannot repeat that enough. There's a reason that happens. Picture 6 and under travel ball. There's a picture of one of my grandsons. They're all cuties, right? And they especially were cute then. Now, as they're getting older, that might be a different description. Oh, they're just, they're kids. They got tons of energy, right? I wish I still had that energy. But my the boys are supposed to play baseball. Dylan had a buckle fracture, fell and broke his wrist. Didn't break him all the way as this buckle fracture. I never heard of that before, but so his season was done. But Zachary's playing the city. They're doing something totally different. They're 8 and under, and they were doing what you would do at T-ball, which I thought was a little weird, but that's okay. They're teaching the kids, trying to teach them to hit, and they're getting them playing, and every kid batted and all that kind of stuff. That's, even if your kid's the best of that group, or maybe even the group up, it doesn't mean they're ready for travel ball. Parents, you might be. I want to be out there. And yes, travel ball can be a lot of fun. I loved it when Jessica was playing travel ball and we would go places and play in tournaments and friendlies and stuff. And then we'd get to eat at some restaurant wherever we were at, and the fellowship. Yes, there's a lot of fun there. But it's to do travel ball, to do that kind of club volleyball, basketball, same kind of stuff. There's a commitment there. It's not like your rec ball league. If you miss a week, nobody's going to care very much, right? Unless you're the star pitcher of the team or something, right? If you miss a week, no big deal. Next week you get to play equal amount of playing time, whatever the rule is. Travel ball, that's not a way. You just say, hey, I don't want to be there this weekend. Now, depending on your team, your coach might say, okay, yeah, you can take a week off. They carry enough players, whatever. But some are stricter, and some will say, nope, you miss a week, you miss 2 weeks, you're off the team. They'll just toss, no matter how much money you paid, you're off the team, right? You're expected to be out there every week. And while it is good and may be good as far as improving your son or daughter's skills because of the committed practices, and they're probably getting better instruction and better coaches that are committed to travel ball. I get that. But that focus, one-sided focus totally on that sport and nothing else, can be detrimental to your child's health over a period of time. I've seen the things my daughter went through when she played all the way up through 18 under. She played 2 years of junior college ball, right? But there were times where she had a blast, and there were times where there were conflicts with players on a team for whatever reason. Somebody got a burr up their rear end and got mad about this or didn't like that, or because the coach played this kid or whatever it was. There, that you hear all this stuff about social media now. Okay, well, travel ball's like a small social media. I mean, that you got that, folks. So when you're pushing that every week, that kid, you got to be there. You got to be there. You can't be it. I remember one year, uh, the the one team my daughter was on, she was going to go to the prom, and so she missed a practice or something like that, and some of the girls had a fit about it because they showed up on practice, for their prom or whatever it was. It was, geez, it was 20 years ago, about 18 years ago already. Gee, many time flies. But you see what I'm getting at? Everybody's different. I get that. And if you've got your kid in travel ball at 8 and under and 10 under, God bless you. I hope it works out for you. But if you're enjoying it that much and you think your child's enjoying it that much, make sure you give them time to take off and get away from it, do other things, encourage them to do another sport, even like for softball players. Volleyball is a great sport for softball players. I got a girl on my team this last year that I think had the best arm on the team as a seventh grader, and she said, "Well, it's probably because I play volleyball," and probably was. She could flick the ball from outfield to home without even thinking about it. I mean, we're not talking about a rocket. She just had a good, solid throw home. So get them to do other things, get them to experience other things, or even stuff outside of sports more. And you think, well, we're doing that already. They did this and that. Okay, now that brings up another subject. Are you giving your son or daughter time off from the sport to go do these other things? Or are you piling those other things on top of it? So now, boom, boom, boom. Okay, we're gonna have the science fair this weekend. We're gonna do a travel ball. We got a term. We're gonna be there Sunday. Gotta do this, blah, blah, blah. You gotta go get that. Keep our grades up. Don't forget you gotta do the homework. And it wears them out, and you know it wears you out too, because I've heard from the parents. It can, but because you're the one doing the driving, right? At least till they get to 18 under up around there, you're the one doing the driving, so you know the time commitment. So just think about it. There's no rule set in stone. I'm sure there's some kids that have been doing travel ball since they're 6 or 8, and they did fine. And there's others that started travel ball at 12 and said, heck with this. I don't know. I met a parent this last year before. The kids started doing travel ball at 12, 13 years old, and they were but they just said, wow, I don't want to spend that much time just doing. I love the sport, but I don't want to do it all the time. So make sure you get a chance to talk to your kids about it. Also look at what is your travel ball. The definition of travel ball has changed a lot over the years, over the last 10 or 15 years. Now, I don't know if it's because I'm in a different state now. In California, I always said there was 4 levels of travel ball. There's those elite teams, and you know who they are, right? Then you got the teams that are trying to knock on that door and get up there. Then you got the teams that I would say are developmental teams. And then you got a 4th level of the wannabe teams. And I'll give you an example. The one team my daughter's on, we had 5 pitchers. We had 5 pitchers on the team. And 2 different times that number 5 pitcher wasn't getting a lot of playing time, obviously. There was a reason they were the number 5 pitcher. And there were 2 different times that, not with any bad blood or anything, Dad said, hey, we just want to see if we can get another team, get more playing time. Great, that happens all the time. In both cases. And one dad, him and another guy even started their own team. They found out real quick why his daughter was the number 5 pitcher. Okay. So there's people now that I know in travel that think they're in travel ball, and yes, they are on a team that travels. But when you look at the level of play, Look at the errors that are made, not just the number of errors. What kind of error? The errors that should not be made by somebody that's playing every week. Then you might consider that as well. So just take it a look at the big picture, look at the schedule of the time, not just for you but your child. You want them to succeed. Who doesn't? If you're a parent, say, I want my kid to go out there and fail, and you're an idiot, right? But I want my daughter to succeed. I always tried to put her in the best position to do that, but I also let her make choices. And I know a lot of parents do that, and that's great. But give them the picture too, and let them know, hey, here's what's going to be expected of you. If you're going to do this, here's what's going to be expected of you. That means you're going to miss that big party that you like to go to every year, or you're going to miss this dance, or you're going to miss something because you're going to be away on some tournament. Do they want to make that commitment? Put the old picture out there. I think a lot of parents do. I know there's some that don't. That they just, oh boy, we're in Travelball. We're going to get a scholarship. We're going to be pro before you know it. And go look at the statistics and take a better look. And it's all about the kids. Hey, teach first, win later. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, custom lineup cards. Use that 10%, that coupon, Kids in Sports, 10% off on customlineupcards.com. And we'll see you next week. Have a great week.